I'm Laura, half of Mainstreet Explorers. Cory is hiding behind the camera right now, but don't worry, you'll get to see him just a minute. And this is another edition of Cooking with Mainstreet. So today we are cooking Tuscan chicken. This is one of our favorite pasta dishes, and it only requires 2 pots. So if you want to see how to make our Tuscan chicken, follow along, and I'll have Cory put the recipe down below. But spoiler alert, I didn't create this recipe. Pinterest. Our recipe is in our nice handy dandy Hallmark recipe book. So I just got to find our recipe. Chicken breast, penne pasta, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, Parmesan cheese, sun-dried tomato, fresh spinach, chicken broth, an onion and a bell pepper, half a cup of cream or cream cheese, and it doesn't say on here, but I'm gonna add it because I know I need it. It takes 2 cloves of garlic. Step 1, get you a sous chef. Oh, Cory! I have a sous chef! Yay! And he's gonna do all the stuff we don't want to do. So our sous chef is gonna be in charge of chopping up the bell pepper. And prepping our chicken to be put in the pan. So, sous chef, are you ready for your task? Eyes on me. So, I need you to ignore my dishwasher beeping at me. I need you to rinse and pat down the chicken breast so that I can put them on to saute. And then I need you to chop an onion and a bell pepper. And I can assist with the onion because I know that I don't want you crying on here. There's no crying on Mainstreet cooking shows. So, but can you handle this task?
Sure. Okay,
go for it. While he's doing that, I'm going to get out the other things we need. So I said salt and pepper, Italian seasonings. I don't have my Italian seasonings all in one thing, but I'm going to grab some parsley and some basil and some oregano. And you're going to use these to season your chicken up, and then you can always add a little bit to the pasta sauce once you make that. And then, this isn't on our recipe, but I've seen it in other recipes, and we might just add a little spice to our life today. And garlic salt, because I add garlic salt to everything. Don't I, sous chef?
Si.
Alright, so while he's prepping the chicken, because the first thing to go on is our chicken, I'm going to start our other first thing to go on, which is the pasta. So I'm going to get the water boiling for our pasta. So we ain't got a lot of time, so I'm going to use a big pot that I can just fill a little with water to get it boiling quick, because we hungry. So here's my water. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to keep it from sticking. And then I'm going to salt this thing like it was the Pacific Ocean. Yay! Then I'm going to get that going. And that might boil over because I put a lid on it, but we ain't got time, so quicker the better. There's that. While I'm waiting for the chicken, I'm going to go ahead Here's my pot for my chicken. I'm gonna put some olive oil in the pan. To cook my chicken with. Then I'm gonna start getting out all of my ingredients. So be right back. Okay, so we got our penne pasta. Parmesan cheese, spinach, and then here are our sun-dried tomatoes. So, and then everything else Cory is kind of cutting up for us, but he got our chicken prepped while I was getting all the other ingredients. So while he's cutting up my onions and peppers, I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking this chicken. I'm gonna put my eye on to heat, and then we're just going to add a little garlic salt. Some regular salt. Some pepper. Alright, so we seasoned up our chicken. I'll season the other side in the pan. My oil is nice and hot. It might be a little too hot actually. Turn that down a little bit. So just put this in our pan. Don't worry, I will be washing my hands as soon as I put all this chicken down. So, put this up. Okay, fresh wash hands. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and season up this side. Ooh, that smells so good. I love this one. So we're just going to cook this on a few minutes on each side. We want to get a nice good sear and then make sure it cooks good in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for about 2 minutes and then we will flip it. By the way, while we're waiting on our chicken to be able to be flipped, I'm going to go ahead and do the little disclaimer. I should have done this at the beginning. We are in no way professional chefs. So
speak for yourself.
So if you are a professional chef and you're looking at our stuff going, what are they doing? We're amateurs. We very much so are amateurs. We just love cooking. We love cooking together. And since this channel is all about our adventures and what we love to do, we just thought we'd love cooking with y'all. So don't take any of this too seriously. If you do something different when you cook, you do you. And we'll do us. Oh, and also while we're waiting, don't you just love this metal popcorn bucket that we use for our silverware? It's a little big for silverware, but I just love it so much. It's just so cute. But I love it. It's so adorable. Okay, come on, chicken. Ooh, our water is a-boiling. Where's the pasta? Okay, so it says about 1 pound of pasta. This is about 1.5 boxes, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Ooh. That should be good. All right. And our chicken, see if it's ready to turn. Yeah, it's getting nice and seared. Turn that off. Chicken's nice and brown on this side. So now we just flipped it over, and I'm about to put the lid back on, and we're gonna cook it a few minutes on this side. And my pasta's boiling over because I put the lid back on. Stirring my pasta so it doesn't stick. I got my chicken browning, and got my chicken browning, stirring my pasta, and then this is the time when you go back and look at your recipe, make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Alrighty, I think we're doing good. I'm gonna get something to put our chicken in once it comes up. Because the chicken, you're just gonna put in something and kind of let it cook a little more and cool. And then we're gonna cube it at the end to put in our recipe. Alright, I'm gonna check my chicken. See how it's looking. Okay, looking pretty good. I'm gonna get a knife. And if it's about done, then we'll put it in our thing. If it needs oh, it definitely needs a few more minutes. Alright. By the way, if you want your chicken to cook quicker, I would suggest butterflying it when you before you put it in the pan. We did not. So I'm going to give that another 2 minutes. Ooh. So I'm going to give that another 2 minutes to cook. I'm going to check on my pasta, which is still cooking. And then I'm going to make sure to put a lid over this to kind of help it seal in the moisture and continue to cook a little bit. Alright, so we're going to keep using this same pan. I'm not wiping out all those drippings because they're going to help make our sauce even yummier. And now I'm going to throw in my onion and my bell pepper. I'm going to let this cook for a minute or two and kind of soften up and cook down a little bit. And you don't want big chunks of onion and pepper. It's more just for flavor than for actual texture or anything. So I'm just going to let that cook for a minute or two. And while that's cooking, I'm about to check on my pasta. Let that cook. Now, I would normally want to do fresh garlic, but we don't have any and don't have time to chop it, so we're just going to throw in this kind of garlic. Use what you got. And we're going to throw in our yummy sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to let that cook for a minute. Oh, if y'all could smell this now. All that garlic and the sun-dried tomatoes. That made that Hansu chef. So I got my chicken broth. I'm going to use this to deglaze my pan. And this is when I'm going to get some of that like drippings from that chicken will be incorporated into our sauce. So I'm going to pour that in there. I'm going to let this cook. You want to let this get back up to simmering and let it cook, simmer for a few minutes. Okay, so I let this cook down for a couple minutes and simmer and get all melded together. I'm going to add some to it. Let that cook for a second. Should have added it earlier, but alas, I did not. Alright, our next step is going to be to add the cream. A lot of recipes some recipes call for cream cheese, some call for heavy whipping cream, some call for half and half. We have cream cheese at home, so we're using cream cheese. So I'm going to use this brick of cream cheese, and then I have some milk on standby if it's not the consistency that I want. So here we go. Cream cheese. I've also seen this recipe used in an Instant Pot, but when I looked at the time, it looked like it was going to take as long as it took just to cook it this way. So I guess you'd have less pans, but you know, you have to do each step and then open it, and then the next step and then open it. So we just have always done it this way. It's nice and creamy and thick. So now I'm going to add the cheese and melt that. And then I'm going to add the spinach. So there's some cheese. Got to finish off the old bag before you open a new bag, right? And if you notice, I know the recipe I showed you had measurements. Those went out the window. We like cheese. Alright. Let me turn that off. Whoa. I think it's getting a little too thick and creamy, y'all. That's why we got the milk out. So there's our sauce. Maybe not. It looks good. It's looking good. Now the recipe said to move it off of the heat. Yoink. And then we're going to add all of the stuff. We need to add spinach. And it's going to look like a lot of spinach, which it is. But we're going to add that and stir it in and let it wilt in the sauce. Then we're going to add our pasta and our chicken. And then we are finished. Alright, so we're cooking down this spinach and letting it wilt. Incorporating that. There we go. Incorporating that. Also, instead of using milk, you could have used your pasta water because it has that starch. But you got to tell your sous chef to save the water. Which, alas, I did not. I'm so excited. Actually, first, we're going to have our sous chef taste the sauce to see if it needs any salt and pepper or anything. He said it's okay. He gave us a thumbs up. Alright. Now we're adding all this lovely chicken, which I know is more than the recipe calls for. But if you haven't noticed, a lot of the stuff is more than the recipe calls for we're doing around here. Because we have guests coming tonight. So, there's that. Get that all good and incorporated. And then the final thing the pasta, which has and then we will taste it.
It looks delicious.
Cory is gonna zoom in right now and show you this delicious meal, although we will be sprinkling extra cheese on top because of course. But I'm gonna try a bite in just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna take a bite and see how it tastes. That is so good. This is one of my favorite meals, and this is the first time that we've used the crushed red pepper and the red bell pepper, and I think that it adds a lot to the meal. So Cory's putting the recipe below if you want to try this recipe out. It's a good one. Also, just check Pinterest. They have a lot of awesome recipes. But make sure to like this video if you want to see more cooking videos, and subscribe so you can see all the crazy stuff we're up to. And we'll see you next time. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to see future videos. And if you want to be notified of our upcoming videos, make sure to hit that notification bell.